The Tale of Kimmy Cat. There was once a cat called Kimmy Cat who loved going fishing. He fished in his master's goldfish bowl and caught 6 little goldfish and ate them. He was scolded for that, but he didn't care. He just waited till more fish were put in the bowl, and then he fished for those and ate them too. Then he found his way to the neighbour's pond and waited patiently by the water until a very big and beautiful fish came by. Out went Kimmy Cat's paw, and the poor fish was caught and eaten. Kimmy got into trouble for that, and he was punished. The other cats laughed at him. "You fancy going fishing," they said. "You are a silly Kimmy Cat. Why, you have such nice fresh codfish cooked for you every day, and yet you go out catching those poor goldfish. We think you're a naughty cat. Meow." "No, goldfish taste so nice," said Kimmy Cat. "You just come with me and taste them." Meow. But none of the other cats would do such a naughty thing, so Kimmy Cat had to go alone. He didn't dare to go to the pond next door, so he roamed away all by himself to look for another one. Soon he came to a wood, and right in the very middle of it he found a perfectly round pond with pink water lilies growing on the surface. But better than water lilies to Kimmy Cat was a big fish, very golden and with a bright diamond-like eyes. It swam slowly about the little pond and shone like gold. "Ho, ho, ho," said Kimmy Cat to himself. "That's the fish for me." He crouched down and waited until the fish came near the bank. Then in a flash he shot out his paw and caught it. It landed on the bank and wriggled to get away from him, but Kimmy Cat got his tail into his mouth. He was just going to start eating the fish when a voice shouted at him, "Leave that fish alone, you wicked cat! Drop that fish at once!" Out of a little cottage came a small man in red with a pointed cap on his head. Kimmy Cat saw that he was very tiny, so he took no notice of him. But the little man ran right up to him and took the fish away. He slipped it into the water and it swam off, none the worse for its adventure. "You bad cat!" said the little man. "Haven't you been taught not to go fishing? It's as bad as stealing to go fishing in other people's ponds. That goldfish is my pet, and I've had it for 20 years. "I've got a good mind to sit here and catch it again," said Kimmy Cat. Suddenly, the little man looked closely at Kimmy Cat's tail, and then he began to laugh and dance about in glee. "Ha, ha, ha!" he shouted. "You've eaten a tiny bit of my fish's tail, and won't you be sorry for it? My fish is magic, and you'll be sorry you ever touched it." Kimmy Cat looked at his tail. Then he looked again. And oh dear me, whatever is this? His own tail was vanishing, and he was growing a fishtail instead. Kimmy Cat looked at it in horror. Even as he watched, it grew bigger and bigger. At last his own tail was completely gone, and in its place was a fine fishtail, golden bright and double-pointed. "Oh my," said Kimmy Cat in dismay. "What a dreadful thing. Here, little man, change it back at once." "Oh." "I can't," said the little man, still capering about in delight. "No one can take it away from you because it's magic. You'll have to go on wearing it, and every fish you eat will make it grow bigger still." Kimmy Cat gave a loud meow and ran away in fright. This was the worst thing that had ever happened to him. He ran all the way home and curled himself up in his basket before any of the other cats could see him. But they smelt his fishtail and came crowding around him, thinking he had got fish in his basket. The dogs came too, and so did the cook. "Have you got a fish there?" she said sharply. "You know that the master forbade you to go fishing any more. You naughty cat. Get up and let me see if you have a fish." But Kimmy Cat wouldn't move. He didn't want anyone to see his fishtail. The cook suddenly became cross, tipped him out of his basket, and then stared in the greatest surprise at his tail. "Goodness gracious, what is this?" she cried. "Why, what have you done to your tail, Kimmy? It's a fish tail." All the dogs and cats sniffed at it, and then they began to laugh. "Kimmy's turning into a fish because he catches so many," they said. "Look at his tail, he's half a fish." Kimmy Cat went very red indeed. He curled up in his basket again and pretended to take no notice, but soon more cats came up, and more still, all attracted by the fishy smell in Kimmy Cat's basket. In despair, Kimmy Cat jumped out and ran away. But that was no use either, for wherever he went, the cats nearby smelt fish and ran after him. How Kimmy Cat wished that he'd never gone fishing. At last, he went back to the little man and begged for his help. "I couldn't help you, even if I wanted to," "Which I don't," said the little man. "The best thing you can do is hide away until your own tail has grown again. It'll take about a month, I should think." "Well, but where can I hide?" asked poor Kimmy Cat. "Well, you can hide in my little house here if you like," said the man. "But in return for that, you must do all the work in my house for me. That will be very good for you, for I can see that you have thought of nothing and nobody but yourself up until now. You are too disobedient and unkind." Kimmy Cat said nothing. He at once went indoors and found an apron to put on. Then he took a broom and began to work hard. His own tail began to grow again, and it gradually pushed the fish tail away, and at last, by the time the month was nearly up, there was nothing left of the fish tail except for a tiny spike at the end of his own furry tail. Kimmy Cat was so glad. He had learnt a lot. He was a different cat when he said goodbye to the little man and went home again. "Here comes Kimmy!" cried all the other animals. "Where have you been, Kimmy Cat? Where's your fish tail?" "Meow, it's gone," said Kimmy Cat. "Please don't talk of it to me. My friends, I'm a good cat now, and all I want is to be kind and friendly." "We will be nice to you," said all the cats and dogs at once. "If you will be nice to us, we will never say a word about the fish tail, not once. Come and have some cream, and there's some nice boiled codfish that Cook has got ready for us." "I'd like the cream, but not the fish," said Kimmy Cat with a shudder. "And I'm not surprised, are you?"